Welcome back to part two. As promised, we're back with more hockey talk. So in the first part of the episode, we covered obviously the Darryl Sutter extension. We talked a bunch of extensions. We talked the OHL season and 5-6 players that impressed us in the preseason. And of course, now we're going to be covering the last two items in our episode list, which is the Global Series from what's happening now in the Czech Republic, and our top 10 prospects for the NHL 2023 draft. So, reesor, the last couple of days, the Global Series has kicked off. It's obviously between the San Jose Sharks and the Nashville Predators. They're in Prague, which is in the Czech Republic, for those who aren't familiar. The Nashville Predators ended up winning 4-1 yesterday. Obviously, Kiefer Sherwood just absolutely lighting it up. But what an incredible game it was for Tomáš Hertl, who is in his hometown of Prague, scored the first goal for the Sharks. You should have heard the crowd reaction.
Oh, I heard it. It was incredible. And it's moments like that where you score in your hometown and you're just like, I made it, you know?
That's the moment where you think, this is real.
This is real. Like, I'm playing in front of my family and friends, you know.
And you're finally there.
And actually, the second game of the Global Series is actually starting in about 15 minutes while we're recording this.
So, yeah, and that's perfect. We might actually be able to catch a little bit of the goals. But
absolutely,
Eli Tolvanen, just going to run down a little bit of the scoring. Obviously, Hertl was the only one who scored for the Sharks. Kiefer Sherwood had a goal for the Predators. Eli Tolvanen.
It was the first shot of the season as well. It's ironic.
So there's a trivia question. Who scored the first goal of the 2022-23 NHL season? It was Kiefer
Sherwood.
So, and then the other goals for Nashville were Nino Niederreiter and Matt Duchene. They ended up taking that one 4-1. And obviously the Sharks were the away team yesterday, so today they will switch it up. They're the home team. This is going to be an interesting matchup. Now, I wanted to ask your opinion with the Global Series games going on, and now this is the regular season. You know, they used to do just the Global Series for the exhibition season. Do you think that they should do more games that are overseas instead of just on North American ice?
Yes, not even a question. Like, the crowds there are incredible. Maybe not in Russia because of what's going on there, but
right. But if you had to
in other places,
if you had to pick a place around the world where the NHL could do their Global Series games for the regular season, where would you pick?
England, UK.
There you go. Yeah, their fans are.
The crowd there would just absolutely go bananas.
We've seen that with wrestling. We've seen that with football. We've seen that with every type of sport. People in the UK are just built different. They are so much crazier than North American fans are, and it's so lovely to see.
Yeah, they do like these chants that I can't even understand. Like, I don't even know what they're saying.
And it's so entertaining because you see the amount of energy that they put into this, and you're thinking to yourself, that's crazy. That's incredible.
And I'm saying this, Odd Man Rush, I'm looking at you, buddy. You know, you got to go to one of those games.
There you go.
If they're in England, you definitely got to go.
There you go. And that's just the perfect timing. You know what I mean? I think that England would be a great place. One place that I would love to see the NHL do their Global Series is in either Sweden or Switzerland.
Mm-hmm.
I think that playing in Switzerland would be super, super cool. The time difference might be a little bit killer, but I think it would be so cool.
Honestly, an underrated one even would be France.
Yes. Because you've seen guys like Alexander Texier, Pierre-Edouard Bellemare, so many superstars who have come out of the French hockey program.
Cristobal Huet.
There you go. Legendary goaltender for the Montreal Canadiens and Colorado Avalanche, among others. But so many players who have come out of the French hockey program and, you know, have not been talked about enough. I would love to see them go to a place like France or Switzerland or even Denmark. Would be pretty cool. Even Denmark.
Imagine like players like Ehlers, Bjorkstrand.
Dude, do like Winnipeg versus Carolina. You do Freddie Anderson versus Nikolai Ehlers. Those are your flagship athletes.
That would be incredible.
That would be really cool to see.
That would be awesome.
Doing a place like Denmark, or what would be another really cool one? I think like exploring the possibility of going to Mexico, playing a couple of games in Mexico, because they do have an ice hockey league there. Believe it or not,
They do.
Which is classified as a professional league. I think it would grow the game. You expand to Europe or South America, or you could probably even play in Antarctica if you wanted to. Not that anyone would, but you could play anywhere.
Another place too. Honestly, like their fans that year in the 2016 World Juniors was absolutely incredible. Finland.
Yes. The electric atmosphere.
The Finnish crowd is insane.
And they let you hear it too. They will chirp your team.
I remember that game against Canada and Finland. Like, I was just thinking to myself, holy crap, they put Canadian and they put the North American crowds to shame.
They really do. And when Comtois,
they make us look like they make us look calm.
And sorry to bring back this memory for Canadian fans, obviously. Canada. Yeah, I know. Canada versus Finland in 2019. All the Finnish fans, you should have seen their reactions to that. That was. I don't want to bring that up too much. But
Noah Dobson breaks his stick. The other way, I don't know what his name was. I think it was like Huutonen or something, and then he shoots it on DiPietro. It goes in. They actually tied the game up with
that was in Finland that year too, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't. That was in Vancouver.
Oh no, yeah, you're right.
That one was in Vancouver. That was the teams like Comtois, Tippett.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah, Tippett. Reigns loves that name.
Owen Tippett, one of the best players in the Steelheads franchise history. But
yeah, he loves that name.
I would love to see the NHL go to places they've never explored before. Go to Japan.
Wow.
Play a game in Japan. Like
Fukufuji. That's all I gotta say.
Yutaka Fukufuji. He was the goaltender for the LA Kings for a little while.
Ito Iguchi.
There you go. You have so many players. Like, play games in places around the world that that's not as common with hockey, right? So, go to Italy.
Even China.
Yeah, go to anywhere in Asia. Go to Italy. You know what I mean? Like, you see
Italy would be funny.
Swiss Italian players too, who are playing in the Alps HL, or
there's actually a Swiss Italian player playing for the Mississauga Steelheads right now.
Yes, and I'm gonna cover
Alessio Beglieri,
who has done really well, by the way, so far. But that's what I mean. Stuff like that. Like, the more that you visit places that the NHL has never been, the more that you're gonna persuade people to join in, and you're gonna see superstars from all around the world. You're gonna see people from Iceland, or you're gonna see people from Georgia, or from Japan or Russia or wherever, right? Like, well, Russia not really, but different places around the world that they've never been, because people are thinking, hey, this is a new sport that hasn't really been as common in our country, and they're gonna want to start to play.
You got to tell the story about Alessio Beglieri.
Yeah, you know what? Well, while we're on it, I might as well. So basically, a little bit of a funny story. So he got the win last night. Huge win for Erie. Huge win against Erie, not for Erie. But we were going down to do post game, and I was told that Alessio didn't speak a whole lot of English, right? That he didn't speak a ton of really good English. So we go down, we do the interview with him. At the end of it, I'm just thinking, he doesn't know a whole lot of English. He answered the whole interview, all of our questions in English, and he did very, very well at that. So I thought that was pretty funny.
I can vouch for this because he actually showed me the file of him interviewing him himself, and he was speaking fluent English.
And I'm just thinking to myself, that's kind of funny, because honestly, it's no, but
Mikey, buddy, you got to get your facts straight.
No, but it was pretty funny. So, but more players like that who are less common in the sport, right? Like Switzerland, you don't see a whole lot of players from Switzerland. Nino Niederreiter, Nico Hischier, Roman Josi, Sven Berchi. Those are the only 4 players that I know off the top of my head that are from Switzerland.
Did you say Timo Meyer?
You know what? I didn't say Timo Meyer. That's it. Yes, that's right. You got to add Timo Meyer to that list. There's only
Jonas Hiller.
5 players that are currently in the NHL that, are from Switzerland, but there have been players in the past. There hasn't been a whole lot, though. I would love to see more players coming over from Switzerland or Italy or, from places that the game has never explored.
Isn't Lucas Spiza technically Swiss?
Yeah, you know what? Yes, he is. Because he's half Swiss. That's right. So I would love to see them go to places where they've never explored before. And now that we've covered the global series, I think that it's time to get into what everybody's anticipating as the most hyped up draft of the 2020s. I'd even say of the 2000s in general.
I'd probably
other
say,
than 2015.
Well, 2020 was a very hyped up draft too.
Yes. Okay,
That's honestly
I'll say
looking
this.
like a very good draft. Yeah,
I'll say this.
I'd probably say the best draft since 2020.
It's the most hyped up since 2015.
Okay, yeah, that's better. Yeah,
and that is the 2023 NHL draft. So we're gonna go through our list of 10 prospects. We're gonna break them down a little bit, tell you what we like about those guys, and then of course we're obviously going to in the process show you who we think is going to go in our top 10. Let's start off in reverse order. From number 10, we're going to go Charlie Stramel of the Untitled currently.
He is not actually playing for the
Or was last year. Is he playing he's playing in the USHL now, isn't he?
No, he is playing for the University of Wisconsin.
I apologize. Yes, I was not.
The University of Wisconsin this year. He's only played one game. He hasn't gotten the point yet. But here's the thing that EP Rinkside said about him. So he has a demonstrated high-end hockey IQ and passing ability in all areas of the ice. He also, and this is my wording here, he's also got a very good two-way game.
I think that he's
very big.
He's really worked on.
6'3" already. He's 216 pounds.
Jeez.
I think he's honestly the Uri Slavkovsky of this draft. He's big.
And from the clips that we've seen of him, he's been incredible on the defensive side recently.
And before I say no, Montreal fans, I'm not saying he's better than Slavkovsky. Lay it off, okay? But Charlie Stramel he's a good two-way player. He's big. He's agile. He's not the quickest skater, but I mean the physicality is definitely the part of his game that everybody looks at the most.
And for sure, and we're talking about physicality, and this next guy has a little bit of speed, and I think he's pretty good at goal scoring. He may or may not have had 30 plus goals. And at number 9, the man we're talking about is Callum Ritchie.
Callum Ritchie this year already has played 4 games, has already put up 3 goals, 4 assists for 7 points. So he's kind of good in the assist touch as well.
He's getting that. He's getting used to playing in Oshawa.
He's getting used to playing in Oshawa. He's last year he played in 65 games, had 19 goals, 26 assists for 45 points. And in 6 playoff games, he had 7 points. So he wasn't bad at all. He's well over a point per game right now. I think he could rise in this draft. How much? I don't know. Personally, I think the highest he could go is probably 6th, maybe 5th.
I think that anything is possible.
If he explodes.
He's going to have a good year regardless.
I think he's going to have a good year regardless, absolutely.
It's going to be fun. I'm really excited to see how he does, but he's a very terrific goal scorer. One guy who uses his speed to his advantage. He's got that big bodied presence as well. He's 6 foot, I believe 6'2". He's
6'2". 6'2". He's 187.
Yeah, 187. There you go. So he's got that big body, but he can use his speed. He's got the goal scoring ability. I think he's using his shot to his advantage, his hard shot too, which is absolutely perfect. Number 8. And this is a guy who a lot of people are going to disagree with on, but honestly, I think that he's the best defenseman by far in the draft. Cameron Allen.
Cameron Allen, absolutely. honestly, from what I've seen of him, he's got a booming slap shot. He's 5'11", and the guy can lay the body like nobody's business.
It's crazy.
And he's, I think he's definitely the best defenseman in the draft by miles, honestly. And whoever gets him, I think he could go as high as number 5 or maybe even number 4.
Anything could happen. And I think
that's how good Cameron Allen truly is.
He uses a variety of skills too. He's got a really, really polished offensive game. He's still working on his defense, which I think is very not super bad. It's pretty good. He's using his speed, his shot, his passing abilities. He's an all-around great defenseman, and that's what makes for, when people say, hey, he's a complete defenseman. He's like a Ray Bork type. He almost reminds me, and maybe I'm just putting a little bit of hype around him. He almost reminds me of a young Nick Lidstrom.
Yeah.
Because the way that he moves the puck and the way that he back checks and the way that he also jumps up in the rush, it reminds me almost exactly of Nick Lidstrom.
Absolutely. And I just want to say, the name that everybody's thinking, here, that's going to be on this list, but unfortunately he's not. I'm just going to spoil it for you. Braden Yeager. Now, Braden Yeager, yeah, he's good, but I mean, I don't think he should be on the list right now, personally. But he probably will be on the list in the coming.
He's getting up there.
Shows.
He's heating up, but he's not top 10 quite yet in our eyes.
I don't think he is yet, but I think he's going to be. I honestly think he could. I know lots of people have him in their top 5.
Yeah, and I mean,
honestly,
lots
of people have him in their top 5.
Anything could happen. Moving on to number 7, Leo Carlsson, the Swedish sensation, as everybody's calling him.
Oh, he's been nothing short of brilliant. And he's been playing in the SHL as how old is he? He's 17.
He's a 17-year-old.
He's turning 18. He's turning 8. Yeah, he's an 04. He's an 04. And this year so far, he's not ceased to disappoint. He's already got 7 points in 8 SHL games.
Jeez, he's under just under a point per game.
As a 17-year-old, and he's playing against grown men.
Unbelievable.
That's incredible. That's something we haven't seen in a long time.
And speaking of playing against guys who are much older than he is, I want to talk about Dalibur Dvorski. He's played in the men's league and he's looked good doing it.
Oh, he's been incredible too. Even on the international stage.
At the U18s, what did he had? He set a tournament record for.
Yeah, he had 11 points in 5 games.
That's insane.
And then in the World Juniors this year, he had 2 points in 4 games,
which is still great. But I mean, he's been playing in where was he playing? He was playing in the Czech League last year.
No, he was playing in J20. He played in 33 games, had 20 goals, 20 assists, 40 points.
That's right. And this year he's playing in Hockey Allsvenskan, which, he's obviously playing for AIK. He's played 2 games so far, no points. But in J20 this year, when he was playing for the AIK J20 team, 8 points in 5 games.
Yeah. It's
3 goals and 5 assists.
And honestly, Dalibur Dvorski is somebody to look at as well. Just saying, you got to see him play. He's incredible. That's all I got to say about him.
You're talking about a guy who is a franchise, well, not a franchise potential, but a potential elite first-line center.
Yeah.
That's what you're going to need.
Absolutely.
That's a guy that you're going to go after. And speaking of elite players who can potentially be playing on the first line, number 5 brings us to Zach Benson of the Winnipeg Ice.
Zach Benson.
Boy, has he been hyped for quite a few years.
He's been incredible already. 5 points. he's played 5 games, 9 points. Last year, 58 games, 63 points. In the playoffs, 23 points in 15 games. He's projected this season already to have 123 points.
Unbelievable.
It's insane to believe. And other outlets as well. So he's ranked the ninth by the Hockey News. He's ranked seventh by McKenzie, ninth by Budden, and 5 by Dauber. And he's sixth in the consolidated rankings. So he's a guaranteed top 10 pick
Oh, for sure.
by everybody here. But Zach Benson, yeah, he's got high hockey IQ, very fast, obviously, and he's an elite playmaker, and he's going to be a first line player for a team in the coming years. That's for sure.
I 100% agree with you, and so is this player as well. We're going to move on to number 4, which is Adam Fantilly, currently playing for the University of Michigan. A lot of people thought he was going to go first overall in the 2021 OHL draft.
Everybody thought he was going to commit. It never happened. Ranking outlets here. He's ranked second by the Hockey News, third by McKenzie, fourth by Budden, and third by Dauber. He's third consolidated, so guaranteed top 5 pick here.
Oh, and sorry, my apologies. I meant to say the 2020 OHL priority selection.
Yeah. But Adam Fantilli, we know how good he is. He's an absolute elite goal scorer.
I'd say the fastest skater in the draft.
Yeah, he's electrifying. Absolutely electrifying.
Fastest skater.
But he's definitely the fastest skater in the draft. Definitely one of the best shooters in the draft. I wouldn't say he's the best shooter.
I think we all know who that honor goes to.
Who that is. He's at number 1. We'll get to him. But
Fantilli's looking like he could be a potential steal at 4th overall.
Literally, honestly, he could go. Honestly, maybe even he's going as high as 2nd.
Oh, for sure, absolutely. Speaking of players who are going as high as 2nd, just like Degeneration X, we are controversial, which means this next pick is going to be a bit of a controversial pick for those who, have been really high on him and have been following him in the last couple of years. Number 3, reesor, we've got Matvei Michkov.
Yes, Matvei Michkov. Now, listen, I'm going to say this about Michkov, all right? Personally, I would have him at number 2 right now. In my personal draft, Matvei Michkov is number 2. But the player above him has been making a lot of headlines, and for all the right reasons. But, yeah, Matvei Michkov, you already know what you're getting with him. Elite goal scorer.
What's not to love?
Hands. Like, literally, he's the best Russian prospect since Alex Ovechkin.
Oh, for sure. He reminds me, his style, a lot of people will compare him to Ovechkin. I'm comparing him to a young Ilya Kovalchuk. Because, that's, oh my, wow. Okay. We got a little bit of news after we're done, so we're on the last 2 prospects. And number 2, we got Edouard Chalet.
Edouard Chalet, obviously, okay, now this one's probably the most controversial pick of them all. But Edouard Chalet, this
was a guy that you've been following for quite a while, too.
This guy's incredible. Now, listen. Here's the ranking outlets. 12th by the Hockey News. He's ranked 13th by McKenzie. He's ranked 10th by Dauber. But the big one that stands out is number 2 by Craig Budden. Craig Budden has, yes, ladies and gentlemen. Edouard Chalet is ranked number 2 in Craig Budden's mock draft right now. And for all the right reasons. Edouard Chalet is an elite hockey IQ. He has an absolute tremendous elite hockey IQ. He's very versatile with the puck.
Can make plays out of nothing, too.
He makes plays like nobody's business. And
he's definitely an elite playmaker.
An elite playmaker. There's nothing bad to say about Chalet. But I think personally, I think right now, a lot of people need to keep an eye on Chalet because honestly, he is honestly probably one of the best Czech players I've probably ever seen. Honestly, since Yeager, he's that damn good.
And that's really high praise, especially.
And moving on
to number one, everybody's favorite. Everybody knows him. Everybody loves him. He is the fan favorite of so many WHL fans. Who are we talking about, reesor? We're talking about Connor Bedard.
Connor Bedard. It's Connor Bedard. What more
can you say? You've seen the highlight tapes. You've seen what he's capable of. You've seen what he can do in the World Juniors. There are so many things to love about this guy. And honestly, any team who gets him, he's a generational player. There's no change in my mind.
Generational. He is generational. I don't even think he's generational at this point. He could honestly be up there with like the Crosbys and the Gretzkys and the McDavids.
So you're thinking that he's like a one of a kind?
Absolutely. Like you've seen the way he's played. You've seen the way he's played. And I was saying it to the guys, and I'm gonna call out Reigns here.
Oh, geez.
I don't care. He said that Shane Wright was a generational player, and I was sticking to it. He's just a franchise player. And he said that no, you listen to me. Wright is better than Bedard. And I'm like, no. Bedard is better.
And listen, at the end of the day, all that's going to matter is when they've played a few seasons in the NHL and you can properly compare them. That's what I think. But for right now, I will happily admit that I was wrong.
Connor Bedard is on a whole other level.
Yeah, he's on a different planet.
You look at the stats, all right? His first season in the WHL, obviously shortened due to COVID, but he played in 15 games, had 12 goals, 16 assists for 28 points.
Unbelievable.
For a 15-year-old kid. That's almost 2 points a game. That's incredible. And then in the under 18s that year, played alongside Shane Wright, nonetheless. 7 goals, 7 assists for 14 points in just 7 games.
Unbelievable.
And we're not going to tell you his last season stats yet, because we're going to get to that. And then in the U18s this year, 4 games, 7 points. He had 6 goals and 1 assist. And in the World Juniors this year, 4 goals, 4 assists for 8 freaking points. And then in this past season in the WHL, his sophomore year in the WHL, 62 games, 51 goals, 49 assists for 100 points. And this season, the stats speak for itself already. He's already played 7 games. He's got 6 goals, 6 assists for 12 points already.
It's just incredible the fact that these guys are able to do that. And I mean, Tanner Howe was his line mate. There's not a whole lot on that Regina team. You see how he's carrying that team.
Single-handedly carrying that team.
Back.
And whoever gets him, you got to tank hard for Bedard, guys. You got to tank hard for Bedard.
We're not gonna say the other one that people have been.
No. That's not PG.
No, it's there were you can look it up for yourself, but there have been some pretty creative ones.
Oh,
there have been some pretty creative ones. Now, before we end it off, there have been there is a little bit of news on the waiver side of things, which I find some of these kind of surprising. So the following following players were put on waivers. So for the Vancouver Canucks, Christian Wallinen. For the Colorado Avalanche, Shane Bowers. For the Pittsburgh Penguins, Mark Friedman got put on waivers. And you ready for the big one?
Yeah.
The Calgary Flames have put Yusu Valamaki on waivers.
Wow.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Okay.
Wow.
I didn't see that coming. What were they
The
thinking?
the two that I didn't see coming. Who was the second one you said?
Shane Bowers.
That one I didn't see coming at all.
I'm
Neither
really
did I
surprised.
see- And Yusu Valamaki.
Valamaki's definitely going to get claimed. Someone's going to claim him.
Somebody's got to claim Valamaki. Somebody has to claim Valamaki. We'll definitely talk. Will we talk about it? I don't know. But whoever picks him up, picks him up.
Oh, for sure. Like
Honestly.
he is a defenseman where you can't go wrong with. He's been
I'm
such a quietly underrated defenseman in Calgary.
I'm going to say this. Dubas, get on it.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he did. I wouldn't be surprised if he did.
Dubas, get on it.
You get rid of Justin Hall and you pick up Yusu Valamaki, boom.
What is up with all the slack on Justin Hall?
Listen, man, I'm not a Justin Hall fan, all right? The amount of times that he turns over the puck, I'm not impressed. He's getting paid $2 million, reesor. $2 million.
Listen to me. I swear to you guys, this guy is the biggest hater of Justin Hall I've ever seen in my life.
I'm not a hater, but he shouldn't be a defenseman. He should be a forward.
Who is he? Dustin Buff?
He should be a forward. He's like the Jake Gardner. He's like Jake Gardner. Okay? He should be a forward. And I'm going to stick by that. Because the amount of times that he has made defensive mistakes, he's turned over the puck, $2 million. He's making $2 million on the cap.
Travis Dermott. And this is an unfortunate situation, too. Speaking of Travis Dermott, he's out indefinitely with a concussion, which is really sucks.
Which really sucks. I mean, he's just such a great player, and the fact that he's out with a concussion, that just sending him our well wishes.
Still not forgiving him for that turnover. What was that spinorama you were doing? What were you doing?
No, but I mean, honestly, I don't hate Justin Hall, but I haven't been impressed with the way that he's been playing. I'm not afraid to admit that I've not been impressed with the way that he's been playing.
It's gonna be a roller coaster of a season for everybody. Honestly.
Yes, it is. And by the way, I wanted to point out a little bit of a funny tweet just to end the episode on a kind of a funny note. So Mark Friedman obviously gets put on waivers. Elliot Friedman was the one who tweeted out the waiver claims for today, and he says under the waiver claims, obviously the worst decision of the day was Pittsburgh putting Friedman on waivers. It's funny, man. Elliot Friedman is he's a character.
Absolutely.
There we go. I think that's all that we have time for. We've basically talked about everything there is in the hockey world today. Really excited to get into next week because I think that this is going to be a really, really fun week to record, especially with the season kicking off later on this week on Wednesday. We're going to be back here talking about the first week of the NHL's regular season. And I hope that you tune in, join us next week. We're going to be talking about a lot of really fun stuff. And we might even have a trivia game that we can leave you with. So for those of you who haven't already done so, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit the little bell notification for all future content. And on behalf of Cameron and myself, thank you very much for tuning into the first episode of many for the 2023 NHL season of the Proshot Hockey Show. I'm Tyler Rains, and I'll see you next time.